Steve, welcome back to the show. Merry Christmas. Bon Natale, my friend. I got to
Bon Natale. Why don't we have Enrico Caruso on?
somebody, I'm telling you.
Jerry Valley.
Jerry Valley. You know what's scary? You know how I know I'm old, Steve, is because every time you say one of those people, I have stories for everybody. I got stories for everybody.
You do, because you're the most interesting, fascinating morning host on radio, television. It doesn't matter, because you're like, coming out.
I remember back when I was a kid. Like me and you, we should have a social club, Steve. We should start a social club on Bluefield.
Old men and young kids. Even though you do have a few years in me, I'm just gonna say, I'm just saying, as they said in my old neighborhood. I'm just saying.
Remember they used to be social clubs on Bluefield Avenue, right? Oh,
yeah, but you couldn't go into them unless you had a certain code that you could. Never mind, I'll leave that alone.
Yeah. Which I love about the Adubato family, if I can, during this.
What are you trying to say about my family?
No, is that you were the only people that didn't go that way on Bluefield Avenue. Right. No, okay. I just don't know. Most people. You started nonprofit. You helped out the whole community to this day, the North Ward Center, what your dad and your mom did and your family did, Steve. And that blazed a path with Ray Chambers, blazed a path for all of us. So we appreciate that, my friend. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Did you get your
doing great. I heard you this morning. By the way, I know it's the birthday of, is it Francis Albert Sinatra's birthday? Just confirming that. By the way, I also love you on social media while you're walking on the streets in New York, and either you're taping yourself or somebody else is, and it's like you got this upbeat. I said, what is Joe taking that he's so positive? He's high on life. I guess he's going to see Frank and Al and talk to Debbie, and that I guess it does. By the way, my staff doesn't like when I do this. They want me to get right to, quote, the subject we're supposed to talk about.
No, and we will. Steve, just Google Steve Adubato. You'll find out. And Steve's show, 2 p.m. on AM970. The Answer, and we'll find all about. And Steve on PBS. Everybody knows and loves Steve Adubato. But it's true. When I come in the morning, people go, when I come to the work in the morning, they go, hey, Joe, what are those videos you do? And I do. I video myself walking to work. It's nice when I got Debbie and Al and Frank, and it's fun, and I go to work, and I'm happy, and I want to be upbeat. Is it okay to be upbeat? Everything's so negative.
It's beautiful. And the other thing that makes you upbeat are the hats you wear. See, I wouldn't look good in a hat. You look good.
If I was as good looking as you, Adubato, I wouldn't need no hat. I need all the help I could get.
That. We disagree on a whole range of things politically, but on that we agree. By the way, I just heard you talking about the president and the little reality show that went on in the outer office.
Come on, give me a take on that.
Wake up Mike Pence yet?
Was that the best? Did they find a picture of him with his eyes closed, or did he close his eyes for a while?
No, I think he closed his eyes. And the other thing we also agree on is I'm a germaphobe, and I don't understand the feet. What would happen to my grandmother if we put the feet on the couch? Are you out of your mind?
Would you let that many people into your house? And the president is a germaphobe, like I am. And all those reporters come in. That's the first thing I thought of. Oh, I would just freak out. I would not allow them in the Oval Office until
I agree. Kellyanne Conway happens to be a friend of mine from back in the day, and with the picture of her with her feet on the couch has always bothered me in the White House.
Oh, it does because it was no shoes.
I'm sorry, Joe. We're supposed to be talking about legalization of marijuana.
We should do the summer win. We should have done a summer win for you.
In New Jersey, and also what's happening politically. So you go. I'm answering questions.
So now we agree on this. That Governor Murphy is a fine gentleman. He's a nice man. He's a nice guy. But politically, with the storm, what's going on, when he mishandled the storm, we all missed, and I never thought we would, but Chris Christie said, you're going to miss me when I'm gone, and we all missed everybody saying, remember, Chris, get the hell off the beach, remember during Sandy? It was great, I missed that, and now we got the legalization of marijuana. Steve, could you maybe talk to your governor friend that maybe the taxes are too high? Can we do something about the taxes? I'm just saying, Mr. Adubato.
Isn't it funny that a lot of the momentum, a lot of the reason why many Democrats and some Republicans are supportive of the idea of legalizing, by the way, the bill is called the legalization of cannabis, Joe. Don't confuse that with marijuana. They're using the clinical name not to confuse anyone, which is pretty funny. But here's what they're saying. They're saying we need the money. So there's a 12% tax on marijuana. You purchase some marijuana.
It was supposed to be 25%, but the governor agreed to do 12%, correct?
Yes, and in the municipality that it's sold, it's a 2% excise tax, and there's supposed to be a regulatory body. Now, here's where the politics gets interesting. Remember, just like with President Trump, who's given a hard time to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, the Republicans control both houses of Congress for right now. The Democrats control both houses of the legislature in New Jersey.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, what they disagree on, Senate President Steve Sweeney and the governor, I'll get to this point, is who's supposed to regulate this? The governor's saying, listen, we don't need an independent body. I'm going to have my Department of Health take care of this. And Sweeney and others are saying, nah, we need an independent body. A lot of this is about control. It's about ego.
Yeah.
It's about who's going to be the big dog, if you will, in the State House in New Jersey. And a lot of the Democrats, even though they agree philosophically on the legalization of marijuana, they're caught up in the weeds and the details, and I'm not sure it's going to happen anytime soon.
Well, I'm a huge Steve Sweeney fan, the president of the Senate in the great state of New Jersey. Does he primary Murphy, do you think, when the governor's, in a couple of years when he has to run again? Does Steve Sweeney go up against him? You think in a Democratic primary, Steve?
I'll tell you, I don't know. Steve's a long-time friend. It's tough to say that when you're a broadcaster, but I respect him. I like him. We have some challenging, spirited conversations, as I had with Governor Christie over many, many years. But I'll say this. My greater concern is that recently Senate President Steve Sweeney acknowledged, the governor had to admit it as well, that they haven't spoken. They haven't sat down to have a conversation in a couple of months. They haven't met. They're talking through, quote, their aides. And I'm going to argue this, as awkward, as uncomfortable as it was to see the president and Pelosi and Schumer in that situation, there was something to be said, for at least they're talking to each other.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
You don't negotiate.
Why don't you be
man to man, woman to whatever it is.
Steve, you could Kissinger this, man. You could be the guy in the middle.
Me?
You should do something when you're on 2:00 on your Sunday show.
Sunday
here on the
2
station.
o'clock, the Leadership Hour with Steve Adubato and my colleague Mary Gamba. Go ahead.
Why don't you bring in Steve Sweeney and Governor Murphy together? That would be great. Only you could make that happen, Steve. That's a good idea, huh?
You're saying that I should create what in Italian my grandma used to call a mashad. So you're saying in Italian, bring them together. I'm sure there's a Yiddish word for this. I don't know what it is right now. But you bring them together. It's like a marriage.
A summit.
In this case, it would be a forced marriage. You bring them together, and whether they like it or not, they have to sit in a room and work it out. That's what you're saying I should do on the Leadership Hour.
I am saying that you're the only person that could do that, Steve, because you're right. They are just at odds, and they're, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it would just be good. Hey, I ask you this too, Steve Adubato. Keep us posted on that, because that would be great. A Steve Sweeney and Governor Murphy sit down with Steve Adubato, looking for that.
Sponsored and broadcast live on AM970. Just don't. I want to make sure I work out my contract with Jerry Crowley first, so I get paid what I know I'm worth.
Now, wait a minute. Don't push it, Steve. Don't push it.
I'm sorry.
And don't ask. Yeah, you're the only one. You get a car. We don't get a car. Steve Adubato gets a car. What is that limo? What is that limo out there? Oh, that's Steve Adubato at the business breakfast. Well, how did he get a limo? Me and Frank and Al are walking. We're walking.
I vote like a Democrat, but more importantly, I live like a Republican.
At least you're honest. Hey, before we let you go, Stephen, Cory Booker running for president. You and I know I make you angry. You're listening, and I know you don't.
No, you don't. I love you.
No, well, Cory, he's a friend. He's been a long time friend. Is he presidential timber, as it were, Steve Adubato?
Well, if you would have asked me if Donald Trump was presidential timber, I would have said no. I wrote it in my book, Lessons in Leadership. Not that I'm plugging my book, but I would also say that I don't.
What was the name of that book again, Steve?
Lessons in Leadership. But I don't like to plug. Here's the thing.
Yes.
I didn't think that the president could have been elected president. So I don't think that Cory Booker has enough experience, my opinion. But the truth is, you look at the Democratic field. What are we talking about? No disrespect, I'm not a Bernie Sanders fan. I'm the whole socialist Democrat. I don't get that. I don't get when you can't have a meaningful conversation, because I know what it pays, my income taxes, my property taxes, my mortgage. I know what it costs to live where I live. Don't talk to me about all the things you want to do unless you're going to talk about how you're going to pay for it. If Cory Booker can't appeal to that part of the party as well as the far left, as far as I'm concerned, as much as they dislike Donald Trump, and I'm not a big fan of his, if they don't deal with that part of the Democratic Party and the independents who are saying, talk to me about some fiscal responsibility, not just a new program, not just free this, free that, I'm telling you, potentially they're going to hand this to Donald Trump again.
All right. Steve Adubato, 2 o'clock on Sundays, AM970. The Answer. Just Google Steve Adubato, and you will see he's got the Leadership Hour on AM970. The Answer, but the great PBS show. And look for Steve Adubato to bring in the Senate President, Steve Sweeney, and the Governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, together for an exclusive sit-down, and it will be aired here on AM970. No pressure.
Absolutely.
Steve, by the way.
And by the way, I just want to say, Merry Christmas to everyone on the team there, to everyone in New Jersey, New York, everyone listening. And by the way, I just want to finally, I'll say this. I am a germaphobe. My daughter Olivia and my wife Jen convinced me to have 2 dogs. What are their names? Vinny and Petey. They're not Irish. That's all I'm going to say.
Steve,
sorry, I had to do that.
Bon Natale, my friend. Give my love to the family, please, Steve. And thank you always for being a part of the show, my friend.
Love you, Joe.
Love you too, brother. Take care, brother.